Proverbs 22:7. The rich rule over the poor and the borrower is slave to the lender. There are people who seem to be doing well. They don't complain, they don't panic, they don't ask for help. If you ask how things are going, they'll smile and say, I'm fine. Or, it's manageable. And most of the time, they believe in themselves because nothing is technically wrong. Daniel was one of those people. He had a good job, a steady income, the kind of life that looks like progress when you stand far enough away. He wasn't reckless, he wasn't irresponsible, he paid his bills, he showed up to work, he did what was expected of him. From the outside, his life made sense, but inside, something felt constantly unfinished. Every month, his money disappeared before his peace ever arrived. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just quietly. A few upgrades here, a few justifications there, a better phone because the old one still worked but didn't feel enough anymore, a nicer car because he spent so much time in it, a few lifestyle changes because life was hard and he deserved some comfort. None of it felt wrong. In fact, it all felt reasonable. After all, he worked hard. He was doing what adults do, and everyone around him seemed to be doing the same. What Daniel didn't notice at first was that something had shifted, not in his bank balance, but in his thinking. Without realizing it, he stopped asking one important question: is this helping me build stability? And he replaced it with another: how do I make this work? That shift matters more than we admit, because while one question builds a future, the other manages pressure. And once pressure takes over, you don't really choose anymore. You adjust. Daniel adjusted a lot. He adjusted expectations, he adjusted timelines, he adjusted his sense of what was normal. And slowly the margin in his life disappeared. Not just financial margin, but emotional margin, mental margin. He was always aware of money, not thoughtfully aware, anxiously aware. At night, when everything was quiet, Daniel would open his banking app, not to feel proud, not to admire progress, but to feel prepared. He knew the dates, he knew the amounts, he knew which payments came out first, he knew exactly how many days he had before things felt tight again. That kind of knowing does something to you. It sharpens you, but in the wrong direction. It replaces curiosity with calculation, vision with vigilance, hope with control. You stop asking what you want your life to look like. You start asking what you can survive. Daniel didn't talk about this. There was no crisis to explain, no disaster to justify concern. So he carried it quietly, at work, on the commute, in conversations where he laughed at the right moments but felt slightly elsewhere. And one evening, not during a breakdown, not during a panic, just during an ordinary, tired moment, something settled in his chest. A truth he could no longer avoid. He wasn't in control of his money anymore. His money was in control of him. That realization didn't scare him, it sobered him. It stayed with him quietly over the next few days, and in that quiet, a verse surfaced in his mind. Not dramatically, not like a warning, just remembered. The borrower is servant to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. For a long time, Daniel had resisted this verse. It felt harsh, outdated, a little too blunt for modern life. But now he heard it differently. Not as judgment, as description, because he could feel it in his body. The constant monitoring, the pressure to keep up appearances, the fear of making the wrong move. Debt hadn't destroyed his life, but it had narrowed it. It had quietly decided what he could risk, what he could leave, what he could rest from. This wasn't about morality, it was about freedom. That's when Daniel understood something important. The issue wasn't income, it was alignment. His money was serving an image, not his values. And as long as that remained true, no raise would save him. No bonus would calm him. No new opportunity would feel like enough. Because the problem wasn't how much he earned. It was who was deciding. Daniel didn't promise himself perfection that night. He didn't swear off comfort or enjoyment. He didn't make dramatic declarations. He chose something much quieter. He chose honesty. He listed every debt, now without blame. He simplified his spending without punishment. He stopped upgrading his image and started rebuilding his foundation. And for the first time in a long time, his money had direction. Not pressure, not comparison, only direction. Things didn't change overnight, but something changed immediately. He slept better, he breathed deeper, he felt truthful again. And that verse? It no longer felt heavy, it felt kind. Because it wasn't telling him what he had done wrong, it was pointing him toward what freedom could look like, step by step, quietly, faithfully. If any part of this feels familiar, this is the part that matters. Financial freedom doesn't begin when your numbers change, it begins when your direction does. When you choose peace over performance, truth over appearances, wisdom over speed. The Bible's wisdom about money has never been about restriction. It has always been about restoration. And sometimes the solution isn't earning more. It's living aligned with what truly matters. If this reflection stayed with you, take a moment to sit with it. And if you'd like more quiet reflections like this, stories that connect faith, money, and modern life, you're welcome here.